Okay, I think we are live. Okay. Yeah. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for tuning into 1 Minute Motivation community page. We are going live with Nabeela today to discuss a very, very interesting topic. My name is Asi. I am the founder of 1 Minute Motivation community page. As a community, our objective is to introduce people and their ideas and experiences that will practically help you to take action to change your life for better. Something that captivated me when I asked from the speaker, is it okay if I introduce you as a social media influencer? She said, no, I'm just a social worker, a volunteer. Such a beautiful statement, and that statement itself resonates with 1 minute motivation values. So Nabeela is an undergraduate in environment science at the University of Sri Jayawardenapura. When she was 18 years, she joined a group of diverse youth to tour around the island to facilitate workshops on peace and reconciliation. Not only that, she is the founder of Sisterhood Initiative. Thank you so much, Nabeela, for accepting my invitation.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great to have you here. Great to have you here. We are going to have an honest conversation about the specific costs of being a woman in Sri Lanka. I think it is important to talk about this topic. It is evident that women have made huge progress in terms of finance, professional life, and personal life. And the objective of this conversation is to explore a few of the areas women seriously paying for being a woman. So my first question is to you, Nabi. I hope it's okay if I call you Nabi, right? So if you were to articulate this topic in your own words, how would you say it, and how do you see this?
Okay, so thank you, Asisa, for having me on this platform. So first of all, what we really need to understand is being a woman itself is not easy. We have gender roles, we have these roles, we are boxed into what we are supposed to be. Okay, if you're a woman, you need to dress like this, be like this, talk like this, right? So getting ahead in life in general is difficult in whatever career we choose to do, or in our education or whatever, right? Now, financially also there's a bit of a burden, right? If you look at the financial situation, for example, sanitary napkins right now in Sri Lanka have a tax of 52%, right? That's a huge amount, because if you look at the population of our country, 52% is women, right? So we are little leading from the men, and also we are a huge amount. We're not like 20 or 10%. It's a huge amount. So I'll just list some taxes out for you, right? So for makeup, we pay 59%, diapers 52%, shoes 26%, clothing 27%, breast pumps 45%. Now, for example, these pumps is ideal for a woman because she can work outside her house while she still has her child, right? So that's the beauty of this product. But this product being taxed so high, you're adding a burden to the woman who's working.
Yeah.
Right? The problem with these taxes is that they are all essential. The products that have been taxed are all essential, but they are being called luxury items. So that's not really accurate as well.
You can continue. You can continue. I have a small slide. Yeah. Please continue.
All right. Okay. Yeah. And for example, if we talk about sanitary napkins or the pad, if you don't use it, you have a lot of other health problems later in life, and hygiene issues as well. For example, there was a research done in 2015 in the Kalutara district, and there 60% of parents refuse to send their girls to school during the time of menstruation. Why? Because one thing is they can't afford the sanitary napkin, and also there are hygiene problems. They're worried the clothes will get stained. So there are all these ground reality issues that girls face. Not going to school for 1 week of a month is such a bad thing. We don't go to university for a day and so much of things to catch up on. So this is the burden that these taxes and these financial problems have caused on women. This is just an example. So yeah.
So I'm really apologize. I had a small technical glitch, so that's why I got disconnected. I mean, thank you so much for elaborating my topic in a very very sensible manner. The second question is, Nabi. Now, women influence a significant amount of money on consumer spending, like you correctly said, in different avenues and aspects. And do you think there are products essential only for women are imposed higher tax from the government and the companies?
Yeah, so one really good way marketing strategists target is the target women, because they know that we will buy anything. They know that online shopping is a huge thing for us. We can stay at home, eat something, and we'll be shopping all day. So that's this huge mentality that people have of women, right? But the problem with this mentality is you can't treat the same way for products that are essential. For example, the sanitary napkins or the pad, right? So I mentioned the pad has a tax of 52%, right?
Yes.
The story about this tax is it used to be 102%, right? From 102%, it dropped to 62%. And finally, now it's running at 52%, right? So 102, 62, 52. And this has been called a reduction. But there is no reduction in this. It's still high, right? Now, the average woman has a period 2,535 days of her life. That's like 7 years of buying sanitary napkins, right? But if you don't buy that because you can't afford it, then you will use unhygienic cloth rags or some sort of makeshift solution, right? And that can cause so many problems to us also. So as a country, Sri Lanka, that has like 52% of a population of women, and only 30% of that can actually afford the sanitary napkin. And even the ones who afford it are actually struggling as well, because that's a lot of tax you're paying, right? Our country has to do a little bit better to understand that this is not a luxury item, it's an essential item, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite surreal to understand and know those statistics. I believe in most of the Europe countries, they say this as a pink tax, right? And they call it as a pink tax, and those certain items which are actually not relevant, but use it as a essential product. And I believe we are inheriting those from Europe countries and implementing it here, which is on my perspective, it is actually an unfair decision taken by the government. I mean, this is I'm just opening up my personal opinion.
That's really important.
And I also believe, Nabeela, most of the companies put more resources behind products and campaigns to target women to market these items. And it is sort of a justification that women actually, pursue them to saying that this product is essential, this product is in need. And is it influencing influencing your buying pattern? What is your viewpoint in that?
It does influence our buying pattern. If you look at some of the advertisements from what I understand from your question, if you look at the advertisements, they'll make the period time look like, oh, I'm wearing white clothing, I'm wearing white pants, I'm acting very happy and free and jumping from skyrockets and doing hikes. So this is not what women do when we are during our menstrual cycle. We are at work, we are studying, we have cramps, we are lying in bed, and we are not doing well. Sometimes we're sick. We spend a lot of time in the washroom. So obviously, marketing people have not tackled that. They do not represent that. And true, they do target these products and make it look like, oh, you have to buy them. But the thing is, Asita, even if the marketing people weren't there, we'll still have to buy them because we can't live without it. So once a girl attains age at 13 or 15, we have to start using these products. Otherwise, we might not be able to even leave our house or leave our room, right? Especially in a country where we celebrate a girl's attaining of age. We have a party, we announce to everyone when she's ready to get married. So we all publicize that. But the reality is, when it comes to hygiene and actually taking care of our bodies, we are not really helping the woman because there's so much of financial burden. There's a huge tax on it.
Wow, wow. So, as an a volunteer, as an independent, as a woman, what is the
Yeah.
advice that you give for the people who are in your similar age, or for the viewers, I would say?
I mean, from my end, what I can only share with you is I volunteer with the Girl Guides Association. So for like about more than 2 years, we've been revising a handbook. So the senior girl guides are the last girl guides batch in the association, and that's after that they leave to the real world. They're not in school anymore. So we have sort of changed that syllabus and made it more proactive and engaging. So there we have included models about how girls have to take care of themselves, even practical questions like, are you aware of the tax that you're paying for essential items that you need? Because these are women, young women, who are going to go out into the world, right? So we have to change that life before she leaves. So we believe in educating. So even I would advise to anyone watching to actually read up and be aware of things. For example, there's this research company called Advocata that does a lot of research on things like this. So if you go onto their website and just type pad or sanitary napkin, you will get so many research articles. And I would really advise everyone to do that.
Okay. So, about this booklet that
Yeah.
you are producing, is it for free, or is it a paid version of it? How does it work?
So we are right now in the translation stage of it. So we are translating to all three languages to have it in all three languages. It's a book by the association, the Girl Guides Association, but we plan to sell it at the bookshelves also, so at
Okay.
bookstores. So anybody who wants to take a look at it, they can, and also they can join the Girl Guides Association through it. So it's all about doing badge work and activities and challenges because we believe sitting down and learning from a book and memorizing is not going to help you, right?
Exactly.
You have to learn things as a skill. You can't learn it as a just point by point things. That's
Yeah.
I mean we are going to discuss financial management in a while for youth, and that's really important because we have to learn it as a skill. So this book is all about that. It's about challenging the girl so she wants to go in search of knowledge and do better.
Precisely. I mean, knowing things is, you call it as knowledge, right? But
Yeah.
implementation, what you know is known as wisdom. So
Yes.
I believe many people will use their wisdom, not.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not so much of information. If you go to internet, if you read books, there's a lot of information everywhere,
Yeah.
right? Just a matter of taking the correct action. Beautiful. I really like the way that this conversation is going, Navi,
Yeah.
and I really
It's
wanted
comfortable.
to tap on a very sensitive area. Like since you said you like to speak about finance managing, and it's a very interesting area. And being a woman or a man managing finance is tough. It's challenging, and
Yeah.
I has experienced it. Um, since we are speaking about women, I like to divert this conversation, especially for your gender. So I see there's a serious gap in terms of understanding of managing finance. So
Okay.
managing finance meaning like it's about the basics of managing your own financial life, like wages, investment, and day-to-day spending decisions, etc. And as in Sri Lankan culture, most of the women think and expect that the man will do the most of the major financing decisions. So, what is your thinking on this? area.
So if we look at our family systems, we are mostly patriarchal. The father is the head of the household. So most of the time, it's either the father who is working and providing for the family and managing the finances, or the father makes the money, and the mother is the bank accountant. She makes all the accounts in the family. Now when you look at how we have evolved into what we are now, our families have also changed a lot, right? You have single parents, you have single mothers, you have mothers raising children on their own, and you have women who are working now, which wasn't there before. And you have
Yes.
women who have left their houses and they're working separately away from home in boardings or in hostels, right? So, and also we can't forget we had a civil war, which means we lost a lot of men in our country, right? So women have had to push themselves as the earner and the accountant in the family. So, but the truth is, Asita, we don't really know how to deal with money in from childhood, because even in school we learned economics, business studies, how to count, accounting. We learn all the theory, but when it comes
Yes.
to practice, how do you buy a house? How do you pay your tax? How do you pay the water bill? We don't learn.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
we wait till we are really old. Even right now I might not know how to do most of the things I just mentioned, because we don't really learn those things, or we don't really get involved in those things at a young age. So like I mentioned, even in this new book that we have changed, we have one section entirely dedicated to girls learning how to manage money. If you have this much of money coming in, can you divide it into what you have to pay? If you have a debt, then what do you do? If you want to buy a house, a car, what does a mortgage mean? So all these things we have to teach children at a young age. So that's why at the Girl Guides we believe, you have to teach everything as a skill. You have to challenge the girl, let her go and look for all these answers and find out for herself. So that's something we honestly believe in from a girl's perspective. We have a long way to go, but I think we have to at least start somewhere.
I believe, I mean, you correctly stated it's not only for girls and even for boys
Yeah,
and men
yeah,
who thinks that they can manage finance. It should come from the early stages, because the blueprint that we have in terms of managing finance is completely different. Because something that I heard from my parents, salli gasoline gadinne. So money come from trees. So these are the things that we learn from our childhood and we carry. So I mean, that's a beautiful initiative. That's a beautiful way of putting across, saying that we have to learn the techniques and tactics and the practical way of managing and utilizing the finance in an effective way. Beautiful. Uh, we have another 20 minutes, so I like to divert this conversation into something, I would say, a relevant
sure.
point of view, meaning. Uh, so recently I saw this article. It said nearly 30% of teen girls, mostly, they are going through suffering and anxiety because there's
Okay.
easy access to social media. There's
Yeah,
cyberbullying is happening, and they become victim to some
yeah,
predators. And there's no question social media has a lot of positives, but
yeah,
the problem is we are measuring our worth by how many likes we receive from the post, and hurtful posts being criticized, cyberbullying, and
yeah,
all this will be there forever, right? Unless the
yeah.
Facebook or social media decided to take it off. So social media plays a bigger part in our roles. I would like to know what kind of a part, or what kind of a play social media plays in your life.
Okay, now for example, on a Friday in school, you get to know that there's going to be a party on the weekend. Okay. Now back then, when we didn't have internet, we didn't have fast internet, or we didn't have our phones, we will get to know about the party on Monday. So Saturday and Sunday, you do whatever you want. You're sleeping in bed, you are with your parents, no problem. But now what happens is, in children's minds, they know there's a party on Friday, but they're not invited. They're at home. But on social media, they can see their friends having fun in real time, right? So Saturday and Sunday, they're thinking, I'm not at this party. I'm not good enough. She doesn't like me. Those clothes I can't afford. All these thoughts are running on their mind. By the time she comes to school on Monday, she doesn't have to hear about the party. She has already lived it through someone else, right? So we're always
Yes.
comparing our lives to other people. We're comparing ourselves. So that's just to give a context on how social media has changed our lives in general, right? So, when you spoke about girls going through anxiety and things like that, I mean, in general, when you have a social media app, you're always, comparing yourself to someone else, your body, your self worth, everything is coming from those likes and everything that people tap, right? Now, even now, I'm sure a little bit of us is also looking at the comments to see what people are saying. We're
Mm.
always like mindful about that.
Yeah.
um, but now the most scary thing is for girls, if you think about pornography, right? There's a lot of child pornography happening. And back in the day, there was internet, but not fast internet. Now you
Yes.
can one click, you get the image, you get the video, you get whatever you want.
Mhm.
A lot of the times girls are being used with this, and you'll be really surprised, it's really young school boys or even young people who are using girls like this. So for example, if there's an intimate relationship between a girl and a boy, boyfriend and girlfriend, and the relationship ends, all those photographs or whatever that girl had sent can be leaked,
Mhm.
right? And then they don't just leak it, they might leak it to the father or to the grandmother or to the mother, or they will bribe her saying, blackmail her saying, I will do this. If you don't want this to happen, do this for me. So she's
Mhm.
trapped. I get
Okay.
a lot of messages onto my social media, especially on my Instagram, with girls telling me my photograph has been leaked, my ex-boyfriend has my photograph, what do I do with it? First of all, girls shouldn't be doing it in the first place if they don't trust this person. That's one conversation. Because you can't trust anyone you meet, right?
I
You
need to
can't do that.
interrupt you here. Sorry to interrupt. So, now for an example, if a girl and a boy, when they start a relationship, so the trust is automatically is there, right?
Yeah.
And they started sharing pictures. So
Yeah.
uh, my uh, my question is to you: how like in an incident like that, what is, as a girl, what they should do, like, because obviously when the boyfriend asks, okay, send me some pictures or something related to um, videos or anything, so they can always go into an insecurity point,
Yeah.
saying, look, if I don't send these pictures, he might break
Yeah.
up with me, and so
Yeah.
something like that.
So that's the trap. That's the trap. If you really love me, you will do this. If you really like me, you will do this. If you really want to be with me, otherwise if you don't do this, I will do this. So those are all traps, because if people really loved you, they wouldn't even ask you to do those things, right? So trust is
Mm.
really important. As children, we don't learn trust, so we just think we have to give it to everyone we meet, or we don't have a lot of self-esteem, so we think, okay, we're not actually good enough. This person who is with me right now is treating me so well, and I can't afford to lose him or her, so I will do all of these things with them, right? So we have to change. We have to treat our children better for them to understand that. That's one a whole other conversation. So, but when girls or even boys fall into this problem, what happens is, now when it's on the internet, it's on the internet. You can delete
Yes,
it from one device, it will appear from another device. It's like that.
exactly.
So the police, cybersecurity, I mean, they can try their best, but they are not at the speed of how fast an internet click is. So that's the problem girls face, and there's so much of suicides. There's a lot of self harm. They can't leave the house anymore. They're scared. Their parents don't treat them well anymore. So there are all these problems that girls and even boys face when photographs are leaked, or things are not shared. Things are shared without any trust, right? It's really sad what's happening. I think what we can only do about it is we can change the law enforcement, we can push in for stronger laws, we can help police to do work better, and also we
Mhm.
need to teach our children that they're actually worth it. You have a lot of self-worth, you have to develop your self-esteem, you don't have to, you wouldn't have these toxic relationships in the first place.
Thank you, Nabeela. I really like the way you articulated that answer, because, like you correctly said, there might be parents here watching
Yeah,
this video, and yes, of course, they have to educate. They have to know our self worth.
yeah.
And I really, really wish we had more time. But as my final question, I like to ask from you, what is your takeaway from this conversation, this 30 minutes screen time conversation?
I think what I have learned in this short time is, from a solution point, we have to change the way we educate children, adults, anyone. We have to bring in awareness to any topic. Now, even this thing about the pad that we were talking, 52% of attacks, that's a lot,
It's a lot,
right?
yes.
That's so if a girl attains age at 13 years old and up till 45 years of age, she's spending about 2 lakhs just in her life to buy these
Wow.
things. It's a lot, right? So I think we need to educate, we have to create awareness, and we have to teach things to children and even adults as a skill. So then
Mhm.
it's there in muscle memory and you remember it. So it's not like you vomit it and you take it back the next day. It's there with you for life. So I think that's my personal takeaway from this conversation.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Nabil. I mean, if you are a woman, I believe this conversation has opened a different perspective about this topic. And if you're a man, I believe you understood what women are dealing with. So,
If I
friends, I
can just
will.
mention, if I can
Sorry.
mention just one thing, right? I
Yes,
think
please,
men
please.
and women have to work together for problems like this. Even if it's a woman's problem, the man has to be the ally. You can be the biggest support to us in any problem we have. No, we don't have to have this, oh, we'll work on it on our own, you all stay and you all do your thing. No, I think men and women both have to work together. Then we can create like actual success for a problem.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful way of putting across, Navi. I mean, like you correctly said, we have to collaborate each other. We have to understand each other. So that is my learning actually. So I understood certain avenues that I didn't even know with this
Oh,
conversation. So thank you so much for that intelligence,
thank
friends. I
you.
really my pleasure, my friend. I really hope you enjoy this little chat with Nabeela, and drop in the comment section your thoughts, your insight, and the things that we can improve so we can serve you better. Stay tuned with 1 Minute Motivation Communication. Apologies, 1 Minute Motivation Community. If you think this little chat can change someone's life, please do share with your friends and family, because you never know, a click of a button can actually change someone's life. And thank you so much. Until next time, be phenomenal. Sending lot of love and blessings. Thank you so much, Nabeela.
Thank you so much.